Let's start today's passage. Although the caption line I have given as, "Yet is it joy to live and to create, and joy to love and labor, the old fails." We'll start from a few lines before that. We'll quickly read the whole passage, then we'll dwell upon it. A fateful hand has touched the cosmic chords, and the intrusion of a troubled strain covers the inner music's hidden key that guides unheard the surface cadences. Yet is it joy to live and to create, and joy to love and labor, though all fails, and joy to seek, though all we find deceives, and all on which we lean betrays our trust. Yet something in its depths was worth the pain. A passionate memory hunts with ecstasy's fire. Even grief has joy hidden beneath its roots, for nothing is truly vain the one has made. In our defeated hearts, God's strength survives, and victory's star still lights our desperate road. Our death is made a passage to new worlds. This, to life's music, gives its anthem swell. To all she lends the glory of her voice. Heaven's rapture whispers to her heart and pass. Earth's transient yearnings cry from her lips and fade. So this is the passage. Yet another beautiful one. And this has been taken from Book 2, Canto 6, that is the Kingdoms and Godheads of Greater Lives. So here Ashapati, while traveling through different worlds, he has reached this world, this plane, where his vision grabs whatever is in front of him, and he sees what he sees there is very interesting. As Aurobindo has said, a fateful hand has touched the cosmic chords, and the intrusion of a troubled strain covers the inner music's hidden key that guides unheard the surface cadences. So some dire fateful hand has touched and set into movement all this cosmic motion, and this disturbance has brought in an element which effectively conceals the rhythm of things, whose unheard beat gives meaning to the outer movements of life. So everything, whatever happens in those worlds, in those planes of consciousness, gets translated gradually here on earth. So there Ashapati sees all this is happening there, that in a normal state everything was going on fine. Then suddenly a fateful hand touched its life and set into movement, cosmic movement in a different way, and that creates a disturbance of sort which breaks the rhythm, and as a result, as a consequence, there's a torpor, and all the outer movements become troublesome, and as a result we see a lot of things which normally one wouldn't have been able to see through why it happens. That is the pain, the suffering, all those things. Why these are there? Because each one of us on earth at one point of time or another, even time and again, we do see these things happening to us as they confront us. But in spite of all the pains and sufferings and shocks which we find in our life's journey, there is a joy in living, joy in striving, joy in creating, in loving. Maybe all effort, whatever we put, all efforts in the end, and also our objects of desire, even when acquired at last, disappoint us, and even trust is betrayed continuously. Even then, truly, whatever happens, all these things are not in vain, because there's some deeper purpose behind all these happenings. Although we do not seem to understand why these are happening, all these things, they have their deeper meaning, their deeper purpose, and that justifies all the apparently useless effort and hardship man puts into. The strong memory of a lost glory goads or pushes life into an intense and joyful action or effort. We say normally in our life, in spite of all those suffering, all those pains one sees happening or confronts, even then we say that normally the show must go on. That is the epithet. But we do not know why the show must go on. Is it to show the other people, the whole world, that even then we can, whatever has happened in spite of all these, we can show to the world? Yes, it seems to be so, apparently, but behind this, it is something else. It is the divine who goads, who pushes us to be, not to get defeated because of these apparent happenings, but to enjoy, to live, to love. And that is the essence of life on earth, because it has some other purpose. So even though we go through all these, something deep in us, that is the divine presence embodied in us, pushes us to keep on doing things with joy. In the next few lines, again he says, even grief has joy hidden beneath its roots. For nothing is truly vain the one has made. In our defeated hearts, God's strength survives. And victory's star still lights our desperate road. Our death is made a passage to new worlds. This to life's music gives its anthem swell. So, grief even does not kill. Man survives the worst kind of attacks in his life. For behind grief, which is a surface deformation created by forces, and they have their purposes, even then there's a joy of existence. To exist, to be. All is created by the divine, and nothing he creates, whatever the divine creates, nothing goes in vain, because he has a purpose which he guards it carefully. We may not be able to see it because of our short-sighted vision of true things. We see the surface only. That is why we do not see the plan behind. But he takes care of everything. Even when what appears to be a total cessation of life, that is death, even death is converted to a passage to greater and freer plane of existence. Death is not something which stops our journey. Yes, it stops our journey for the moment only, for a particular assignment which we are given. That is to say, the physical time. But again, we resume anew, of course, changing the waist. We wear something new, like we wear our dress. We change the fleshly attire, or as a new persona in the next life. But it doesn't, the continuity of soul's experience doesn't stop there. It always continues, adding all those divine elements in the cavern around the soul. So this truth, the divine element in creation, is what gives the fullness or the essence and power to life. To all she lends the glory of her voice. Heaven's raptures whisper to her heart and pass. Earth's transient yearnings cry from her lips and fade. It is life that imparts, that gives the dynamism and effectuation to all our urges for expression. So, life as it is cannot cease. In fact, similar kind of lines we'll find. I have marked Book 10, Canto 1. I'll just read it out. We'll see. An unintelligible intelligence invents creation's paradox profound. Spiritual thought is crammed in matter's forms. Unseen, it throws out a dumb energy and works a miracle by a machine. This creation, in this creation itself, is, although it seems to be a paradox of which we cannot make any head or tail, why things happen, why in such manner, why not in the right way we expect it to be, although everything seems to be a paradox to us, there is an intelligence which knows right from the beginning to the end, which is not only visualized but acted upon. So all here is a mystery of contraries. Darkness, a magic of self-hidden light. Suffering, some secret rapture's tragic mask. And death, an instrument of perpetual life. Although death walks beside us on life's road, a dim bystander at the body's dirt, and a last judgment on man's futile works, other is the riddle of his ambiguous face. Death is a stair, a door, a stumbling stride. The soul must take to cross from birth to birth, a grey defeat pregnant with victory, a whip to lash us towards our deathless state. So beautiful. It's a kind of a mystery of contraries in this place, this earth, which is full of contraries. This moment we feel joy, the next moment we feel sorrow, and we are perplexed. We do not find any reason, any rhyme or reason, why and how. But something else is always there behind it and walking it a meticulous way. Darkness, a magic of self-hidden light. Suffering, some secret rapture's tragic mask. And death, an instrument of perpetual life. So, death wears the dark mask. But that too is a passage for us to the quest of a new life, a new dawn rather, where we always hope to find unceasing, uninterrupted joy that is without pain, without suffering, without difficulties, without trouble. Of course, we dream, we hope for, that is yet unattainable, but something deep in ourselves knows that it is waiting for us to happen, to manifest, because that inkling comes from the deep cavern where dwells the divine. That is why a death, he says, a dim bystander at the body's start. The moment we take birth, somehow or other, we know that it is just like a shadow. The death is just like a shadow which always pursues us, that is life, and finally takes us up. But again, he says, other is the riddle of its ambiguous face, because it has a double meaning. It is it doesn't see one way, that is death has come and that is the end of it, and we do not we won't be able to see, we won't be able to exist, won't see life, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are experiencing through, that will not be there. That is one way, but it cannot be as it is, because it also has a meaning that beyond that there is another thing which is waiting for us. That is why we take birth again. It's a perpetual coming and going and making us richer and richer. We grow richer every time we come, although we forget in our surface mind. With our surface mind, we cannot remember, but it is called the psychic memory. The psychic knows and remembers everything. Why I have come down in this particular environment this time, to go through some particular experience, and thus enrich my life, which again will be added in the psychic entity, psychic being, which has a perpetual journey from birth to birth. It knows very well. That is the psychic, that is called the psychic memory. So it knows. That is why he says, other is the riddle of its ambiguous face. That is a stair, a door, a stumbling stride the soul must take to cross from birth to birth. A great defeat, pregnant with victory. Yes, it's a defeat because we kind of surrender to the dark power. But then that is not the end of it. Deep down, there is something which always remembers and knows that that is not the end of it. I am coming again and make myself available for divine work and enrich my life. So that's it today.